Welcome back to the session, and this is again your learning partner, teacher Anna. So, good day once again. I hope all is well with you. So, last week we have answered the learning activity sheet for lesson number 9. So today we will have a new lesson. This is about lesson 9, conducting the community action plan that applied the methods of social sciences. So that is lesson number 9. So for our most essential learning competencies, so you are going to synthesize the insights gained in conducting the community action plan that applied the methods of social sciences. And then for the learning objectives, so at the end of the lesson, guys, you are going to describe the conduct of community action plan and analyze this and synthesize the insights gained in conducting the community action plan. So most likely, you want to be educated to be positive para makatabang sa inyong community or sa inyong komunidad. So now, let's try to know how you are going to help your community. So let's try to know what is a community action plan. So always remember, guys, that a community action plan is a roadmap for implementing a community change by identifying and specifying what will be done, who will do it, and how it will be done. So in other words, guys, the action plan describes what the community wants to accomplish, what activities are required during a specified timeline, and what resources, just like money, people, and materials, are needed to be successful. So yan yung community action plan. So para siyang roadmap. So dyan mo makikita kung ano yung mga kailangan mo. So sino yung gagawa niyan at paano yan gagawin. Okay? So kumbaga, you are going to have a game plan. So this game plan can develop the community itself. That's why it is called community action plan. And then in that way, you need to have a teamwork. You need to have a solution. You need to have a good planning, a good strategy. And you need to, this strategy, kinanglanin mo na i-brainstorm. And then you need to know what is your target. So that is for the community action plan too. So you need to know what will be done, so who will be done, and how it will be done. So kumbaga, it is a roadmap. Now, let's try to know the advantages of the community action plan. So ano sila ang mga advantages, ma'am, sa community action plan? So sa community action plan, guys, first, we have the strong participation of the local community regarding issues. So most likely, atong komunidad, igid mawalan og mga issues no, mga problema. So in this way, we will have a strong participation. So just like para siyang palengke. So anyone can donate whatever they have, and then anyone can get whatever they need, okay? So that is also a community action plan. That is an example. So most likely, everyone has a participation. So pwedeng mag-donate, pwede ding manghingi. Okay? Next is by implementing community action plans, the solution for problems comes from the community itself and hence considers primarily their needs and priorities. So ito yung solusyon sa mga problema ng komunidad na sila gid mismo kung makakita or nakakita kung unsa gid to ilahang mga basic or mga primary needs and priorities. So, unsa gitong pinakauna dapat nga i-address ug unsa tong mga priorities. Next is So, a community action plan guarantees that all relevant groups participate in the activities, particularly the women and other community groups that are often forgotten. So dito guys, pantay-pantay lahat. Lahat may kakayanang mag-participate. So lahat ng grupo, you are all relevant. Importante kayo. Even the women. Okay? So even yung mga community groups na nakalimutan na. So most likely, it guarantees that all relevant groups participate in the activities. So always remember guys, kung sama-sama, mas magiging strong kayo. At the same time, you can participate even though you are part of the LGBTQ. So everyone has its own participation. And then next is guarantees the acceptance and support of the solution by the local community. So, dito din ninyo makikita talaga kung ang mga solusyon na ginagawa ng local community is agreeable by all the people. At the same time, it also guarantees acceptance and support. Okay? So, kung sinabi ng barangay captain na gawin natin to, magsumiti tayo ng community action plan sa Daneco kay wala tay suga ani nga street, gitngit kaayo daghan kay krimen diri mahitabo. So most likely it is widely accepted and supported because it is a part of a solution to the local community. Okay? Next is disadvantages. So unsa day ang mga disadvantages, mga negative things when it comes to community action plan. So pinakauna jud ana is requires time and resources to integrate all the relevant stakeholders in the process. So dili gid basta-basta ang magkaroon ng community action plan. So most likely it will require a lot of time. It will require resources. That's why daghan kay mga project o mga plano nga dili matuman, dili siya ma-come into reality. It is because kulang ang oras or maybe kulang ang resources. That's why this is also a part of the disadvantages. Next is finding consensus among all the community members can take ages or might be impossible. So, kana po magkasinabot no ang isa ka community members can take also ages or might also kanang dugay siya. Like for example, kani siya nga grupo sa puro mao nilang gusto, mao ni ang unahon ang court, pero ang kani nga grupo gusto nila nga unahon ang pailaw sa ilahang street. So most likely, dili gid siya lalim mag-consensus sa isa ka community member. So most likely, that's why in a democratic country, we need to find consensus manggod. Dili man siya basta-basta nga, ay, tungod kay ganahan ni sila, kani atong unahon. Tungod kay ganahan po na sila nga grupo, mga dato. So kani atong unahon. So most likely, we will have a consensus. It should be agreed by the community members. Okay? But it is also hard to find consensus. Next is community action plans are not going to be developed without strongly motivated and encouraged local community members. So this is also a disadvantage. Isa ni siya sa mga loopholes and mga dili lalim sa community action plan. So kinahanglan nga strongly motivated jud and then encourage ang local community members nga sila gid mismo ma-convince sila na kinahanglan jud ni sa ilahang komunidad. Okay? Next is, what is a community action plan? So, di ba, giingon dito ganina nga it is a roadmap. So, most likely, it has different steps. Okay? So, a healthy community, guys, is a form of living democracy. So, di ba, we are living in a democratic country. So, that's why people should be working together to address what matters to them. So, sa kinahanglan nato sa isa ka komunidad, dapat ma-address nato na siya. Okay? And then the community action plan is one of the participatory tools used to build a capacity. So, ang pinaka kuan jud ani pinakatumong sa community action plan is to build the capacity of the community members. So, in taking action in accordance with the problem. So, dapat naastay kapasidad nga mo take action sa itong mga problema, sa itong mga needs and mga potential sa ato ang community. So, that's why it is also very important to have a very good community action plan leader. Okay, so this is an example, guys. So first, step 1 for our roadmap or for our community action plan. Prioritize goals and concerns. Okay, so you are going to identify and prioritize goals and concerns that are motivating community leaders to engage with the board. So most likely, i-prioritize good kasi sa isa ka community in the real world, daghan jud ta og problema. So that's why we need to prioritize katong pinaka problema gyud nato. So unahon nato to pagsulbad ang mga pinaka problema, or we will have a checklist just like this, and then we need to categorize if it is part of the A, or dapat solusyonan na ba na sila dayon, or B ba na sila, o kinahanglan sila solusyonan pero okay lang siya madugay, or C ba na siya, kinahanglan siya solusyonan pero pwede na siya ipaiwit, just like that. So you need to prioritize goals and concerns. Step 2, we are going to identify levers for change. So unsa tong mga butang na pwede makatabang sa tua para ma-change ang ato ang komunidad. So for example, identify port governance structure and key regulatory agencies, identify upcoming planning process, decision documents, and other opportunities for community influence. So just like the government or our local government, so gusto sa ato ang komunidad nga magkaroon taog nindot nga street or nindot nga dalan kasi lubak-lubak na siya, pangit kay ato ang dalan, and then we are every day we are traveling to transport ang ato ang mga community needs at the same time atong mga community products. So wala dito kabalo, nagpa-ano ta ato, nagpa-community action plan ta ato, pero ang gobyerno di ay na sila structure nga plano para dira. So you need to know, that's why you need to identify levers for change. And then now let's go to step 3. So you need to build relationships. So this is very important. No man is an island and you cannot finish a project if you are just alone. So you need to build relationships. So identify key community stakeholders and resource partners. You need to conduct outreach and build relationships. You need to share information and solicit input and feedback. So most likely, hindi lahat ng community action plan or mga magagandang development ng isang community is kinahanglan jud sa isa ka or kinahanglan jud sa mga stakeholders sa komunidad. So most likely, it should be a mutual agreement. So you need to have a share information. So mo ni siya ang inyong problema. Problema ba gid ninyo? Or kinahanglanon ba gid ninyo? So you need to share information, solicit input and feedback. Now, let's have number 4. So, next is to develop an action plan. So, gikan dito na ibalaan na nimo ko silang mga problema unsa ang ilang mga mas priority. So, in that way, you can now develop an action plan. So, you need to evaluate the methods of engagement, select the most effective approach, and may select more than one. So, for example, for this one, like for example, ang imuhang community action plan is mabutangan og suga ang isa ka street tungod kay ngit-ngit kay siya, at the same time daghan og mga krimen nga nagapahitabo dira. So that's why, so pinakauna, mulater ka sa Daneco kung pwede ba sila nga pwede bang mag-request nga inani nana. So kung wala action ang Daneco, so unsay imong buhaton? Step 2. So you are going to write to the local government. So just like that. So you need to have you need to select the most effective approach. So pwede po ka you will have more than one nga mga effective approach. So kung dili ni siya effective, asa sa step 2. Or si plan A, si plan B, si plan B, or si plan C. So you need to develop an effective approach. Step 5, so you need to make your case. So you need to gather information that supports community concerns and goals. And you need also to implement selected strategy. So you need to make your case na. So kinahanglan na nimo mo gather og information. So kinsa may pwede mo support ani nga mga programa. Kinsa man ang or unsa man ang concern ani, unsa man ang mga goals ani, unsa may mga target ninyo. Unsa pud ka strategy ang gamiton. And step 6, you need to build momentum for change. So, mamang gini ang ato ang gusto nga may tabo sa ato ang komunidad, no? So, magkaroon tag good change. So, for this one, we need to evaluate the results of the community efforts and share this with the public and celebrate successes. Identify next steps to build community influence. So, dito guys, you are going to evaluate. So, evaluate nimo kung unsa ang community efforts. So, kung nindot kaya nga to ang pagtinabangay. So, mo ni siya ang ato ang na-attain because nagtinabangay ta. Or kulang pa ang ato ang mga effort. So, to gain or to get this target. So, yun na siya guys. So, you need to evaluate the results. So, kung tama lang ba, sobra or kulang ang ato ang effort. And then, you need also to share this and you need to celebrate small successes, big successes. You need to celebrate that because a small change for the community is already a first step for a bigger change and change for the good. Dili sa kanang kadaot sa komunidad. Okay? So now, let's go to the 10 general principles of community action plan. So, sa ninyo dapat tandaan when you make your action or community action plan. So, unang-una, it is process for action. So, dili gid siya plano lang, kung dili na adyo kay buhaton, not a blueprint for future development, na adyo kay buhaton. Next, the solution for problems comes from the community itself, and the role of the facilitator is more on formulating the problems in the community. So, dili ang facilitator ang magbuot-buot nga dapat kani ato ang kwan kay mao ni ang problema, but the community itself should have solution or should come up with a solution for the problems of the community itself. So most likely, mag-formulate lang ka og mga problema, pero imuhan na siyang ilabay sa community itself kung problema ba gyud nila and would they like to address that. Next, it is not determined from outside the community but grows emerges from the affected community. So most likely, kani siyang community action plan, dili dapat naa sa gawas, kung dili naa sa sulod. Unsa ang kinahanglanon jud sa isa ka komunidad. Next, avoid activities such as lecturing or teaching the people, but concentrate more on workshops as a form of discussion with the community. Like for example, you see that there is a need for jobs for the women in that certain community. So maghimo ka og workshop, and then in that workshop, you will also see nga ang ilahang response na kalaoy nakaano jud mi nakatuon jud mi unsang pag-wave unsaong pagtrabaho ani unsang pag-business ani. So in that way they will know, they will be empowered. So not just lecture through words lang and through teaching lang, but to create something. So sila yun mismo ang mo create something. That's why it is a workshop. Next, guarantee that all relevant groups participate in the activities, particularly the women and other community groups that are often forgotten. So, dapat gender equality. So, most likely, all groups should participate. Next is facilitate input from all groups. Do not allow one group or leader to dominate the discussion. So, most likely, in a community action plan, dapat sila tanan mo hatag og input, dili lang isa ka tawo ang mudominate mao na to unahon. So kani atong unahon ya pagka man luxury lang dayto ang iyahang problem, dili dayto siya kanang pinaka-root sa isa ka problema. So that's why we need to have differentiated input from all groups. Next is remember that one issue might appear to be not very important for one group but is important to another group. So inaani po siya guys. So most likely maybe for one group, ang isa ka issue is dili importante, Pero kani siya nga issue is importante for another group. So that's why you need to weigh gyud kung asa gyud to ang mas importante. Next, for the community action plan, you need to avoid too many pictures and text. It is better to absorb and remember several points rather than make a long list. So kung mag-present kag sa community action plan, dapat mga points lang yun dito. Bullet 1, mao ni siya. Bullet 2, mao ni siya. And then you need also to use simple language and avoid difficult terms. And the last one, you need to make the materials as simple as possible. So kung kaya na ito gamiton, ang unsa lang ang nasa itong komunidad, much better. Kasi mas gamay lang siya o gasto. But kanang kung kinahanglan na ito mag-purchase in a very small amount, then that will also very nice. So that is an example of make the materials as simple as possible. Now let's go to the example of a community action plan. So for example, guys, you need to have a cover letter. So this letter is a letter to the community from the mayor or community leader. So for example, mingon si Mayor dito nga, pag-suggest na mo dira o gusto na ko ipalambo ang inyong komunidad. So pag-suggest mo, pagplano mo kung unsa nga mga problema, mga issues ang naa mo kato ang solusyonan. So next is introduction. So a description of the purpose of the action plan and how it was developed. So dapat na dito'y description. So unsa gid ang purpose sa imuhang plano. And then community profile, a brief overview of the distinguishing characteristic of the municipality and the priority issues. So kumbaga, nadara ang mga checklist kung unsa jud ang character, unsa ang overview sa isa ka municipality or sa isa ka komunidad. So unsa pud ang mga issue. So imo siyang ikuan kani siya ang prioridad nato, mga letter A, so you need to address that immediately. And mao ni siya ang mga letter B, mga problema ni siya, pero pwede ra mo take time. And then we also have the community action plan. So it should be a description of the issues and community goals. So dapat na gid siya description. So dili lang siya kanang pahapyaw in general, but specific description of the issues. Next is lead organizations from each sector. So unsa pud nga organization ang mag-lead ana. And then, current activities and projects. So, unsa itong mga current activities or current action, community action plan and projects nga naa sa tuang komunidad para dili magbalik-balik. Next is suggestions for new projects or community-wide campaign. So, unsa pa itong mga new projects na dapat na itong i-propose so that our community or mulambo pag yun ang tuang komunidad. And then, you need also to include the resources. So, unsa man, where to go for financial support? So, is it like sa DSWD ba siya? Sa DPWH? Sa DepEd ba siya? So, we need to have the financial support. Next is where to get advice for educational material or uneducational material. Like, for example, kanang tudluan nimo ang isa ka community nga maghimo og dressmaking ba? So most likely you need to get advice from different sector kinsa atong pwede nga makahatag og educational support sa ato ang mga komunidad or sa ato ang mga housewives, for example. Next is where to get donated products or services. So kinsa po'y makatabang sa ato kasi mo donate sa ato ang mga lahi-lahi nga produkto o services. And then you are also going to have your network. So you need to have a contact list of key groups. So for example, the government departments na pwede mo tabang sa imuha. Others who are supporting the community action plan. Okay, so that is for the network. So this is an example of a suggested table of contents for a community action plan. So I know you can do it, guys. I know we can do it. I know we can develop our community for the common good of the Filipino people. Okay, so I hope that you will be a very good asset of your community. Okay, and even in your family. So thank you so much, guys, for listening for our lesson today. I hope you learn a lot. And let's go to your assessment. Don't Don't forget that you need to be an asset of your community and be the best citizens. See you. Bye.